Hello, I thought I'd do a video on improvements that I think should be done to the GUI or could be done to the GUI to make things better and easier. So I thought a video is better than trying to do it one step at a time. So anyway, here we have the screen, and this is the layout that you need if you want to be able to see all the categories, see all the blocks, including operators, which is the biggest section, and the layout over here, so you can see all these buttons. If you try and make that too smaller, it starts to get a bit mucked up. So that's about the minimum you can have that size if you want to be able to see everything. And this leaves your scripting area that we can see here, which is very wide. So that's very good. And you can sacrifice at any stage. Of course, you can sacrifice the stage area by moving across to gain you more width. That's just obvious, no problem at all. But my issue is that to be able to see all the categories and be able to select any block, then that is the maximum height you can go to. If of course we can go to let's say that one, which would be the maximum real height, because then none of these blocks, none of the C blocks get chopped off. But you're still missing a bit, and of course you've lost your categories. So you come back to here. Now obviously my main suggestion I made a while ago is to go back to the scratch method, that all the blocks should be down here on the left, and then we can use the whole height for the scripting, and we can just change the width of this to be able to see either one load of blocks, or we can go that wide and we should be able to see all the blocks down here. And that is my preferred solution, preferred thing, to go back to that. Now obviously this is the method we've actually got, so let's see if we could work with that. Now one thing that might be easy to achieve, I don't know, because would be to change this category area. And so instead of just being linear, because this is a limiting factor for the height of this thing, we want to see all the categories, then we have to have the line down here. Now obviously if the categories went into columns, we could move it out to this width, and we could say take it up to, it's halfway up there, it's probably about the sound, about there, and we'd be able to see all the categories, and we'd have gained quite a bit of height, and we'll still see all the blocks. So we'd see all the blocks, we could see all the categories if these were in columns. So to me that's maybe a quick win. I don't know if it's possible to put these in a two-column arrangement that just automatically resizes, but if it is, I think that would be a quick win and doesn't affect anything else. Now this is okay, so I've got a bit more height on the scripting area. I'm only missing out on that bit now. So you start to sort of think, well, is it worthwhile? But if I wanted to, let's say this was all multi-column, I could decide to go across and have 3 columns, take it up to about there, and then I can see all the blocks. I might have to scroll, which I don't want to do, but most of the first blocks are there. If we look to motion, I practically get all the blocks. It'd be a compromise if it did 3 rows, but if it could be made to do 2, maybe it could be made to do 3, and then users could play around with it. It's one of those things, until it's done you wouldn't know. But going back to that one, which I think would be definite, which we have 2 columns, as you can see all the control, you can see the motions, you can see all the blocks. Let's assume they're on the second row here. Now operators is the only one that cannot be seen, but operators is quite large. I'm hoping later on in GP that things like abs and truncate and round and floor and ceiling can all be done with menu blocks and drop downs like in Scratch, so that we don't have to have all these individual blocks we could just, you know, pick a category like and go click on it and say what function do we want from it, and that will cut back on the operator blocks. But we haven't got it at the moment, so at the moment the operator blocks is our maximum category, but obviously in 99% of the cases you're using these blocks. Occasionally you'll do a bit of truncating and things, you know, the distance one you only use once on a blue moon. You're using sine and cosines if you're into things. 2 degrees part, you know, you can live without those ones on the end there. So that would be my thing. Now, I'm doing all this in normal mode. You know, it becomes even more, you know, more needed when you go to developer mode. If we go to developer mode, then, you know, if you want to see all the categories, you've got to come down to there now. So you've even got less area. Now, I understand the argument that you could use the search box, but the search box, you know, does require using your hand to type, and obviously block programming, the convenience of drag, drop, right click, I mean that's where it's at. The only time you normally type something is when you've got to enter text into a box or enter a number. But you know, a lot of the time you're not using your typing hand. So yes. But obviously it's great to have it as a function, but I don't personally think that running like this to get the maximum area and just relying on that is really realistic. It's really realistic if you know exactly what you're doing and you're fully familiar with GP and you know what all the blocks are, then you know you can do it that way. But there's not going to be many people in that category. I wouldn't even put myself in that category, and I've been using it intensively for 3 months here. So you know, to me, I mean, you can leave your blocks like that and scroll up and down the control, but I find myself wasting a lot of time with scrolling up and down, doing things. While I'm on here, can I just say the scroll speed when I'm using my mouse button is extremely slow. One thing that would be improved is if the scroll bar moved a lot more compared to the mouse button. If you compare scrolling using your mouse button, I mean, I'm giving my mouse button some vigorous movements here, as you can see what it's doing. It's very slow. But if I did that on a web page, it would scroll up and down, you know, pages. It would move really fast. So one thing that could be done, can we make the mouse scrolling on the scroll bars work a lot faster, please? So anyway, that's my diversion. So there we are. That's my appeal for GUI. Actually, I'd like all these blocks down over here so we can use the full size of the script anyway. But if for some reasons that I'm, you know, not party to, we can't or don't want to do that, then could we make that so that this loops round and at least we can get to that stage like that and give myself a bit more vertical that way. And while we're on, can we change the scroll bar up and down? Anyway, right. One last thing while I'm here is the actual search bar. I was looking at Snap, and then basically they have the search bar over on the left here, and I was thinking that would seem to be a much better idea. From I think, you know, is there not a thing that should, you know, where you move your eyes to the top on the left? So having the search bar over there, I think if the search bar was underneath read GIF or at the top of this box, or you know, maybe above next to script, I don't know where it can go. We don't obviously want it to take up any, you know, too small vertical height unnecessarily, but I think if it goes from here over to here, it might draw people's eyes to it better, and it might be used more by, you know, by people when they think, oh, I'll just type M into that and get my move block, which then brings us up to the next one. I'll type M into here, and it comes up with every possible block, including those in extended mode, which is fine because I'm in extended mode at the moment. But if I go out of developer mode and then I go to here and type M, I still get all the extended functions, and I don't think that's right. We're very confusing for beginners because they think, what's that map? What's my? Oh no, they know my, sorry, because that's in instances. But they say map, don't know map. Because they're probably looking for move. You know, a beginner, if they were typing M, they're probably looking for the move block. So you wouldn't want to see the advanced ones, the developer mode ones, I don't think, when you're not in developer mode. It's nice to have them there, but I think if we've got two modes, then I don't think the developer mode should be exposed at all to the user, because they're just, you know, it's like finding something at the back of the wardrobe to another place. You think, ooh, what's that doing there? Rightio, I'm going to stop now. Bye for now.